howdy do, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And welcome to episode 210.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
The trouble with time travel is one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear. And it seems on a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser men to light the flame.
I'm the Doctor. This is Rose Tyler. She's my plus one. Is that all right?
That would be me.
Hello. Surprise!
Boom!
Etc.
I'm the Doctor. Do everything I tell you, don't ask stupid questions, and don't wander off.
How can you kid this? I don't like the colour.
Howdy do, Who fans. Hope you've all had a cracking week. That you've managed to do something. Doctor Who related. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We did something Doctor Who related.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
So did quite a few others.
We went to the pictures.
We went to the movies.
The movies, yeah. No, it's good. We had a good weekend, didn't we? Last week we told you that we were off to the BFI on Saturday. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Crikey.
Yes, yeah. Saturday, yeah, I know, yeah.
On Saturday, we got there and was all mingling around. That's that's a good bit before you go in.
Yeah.
You meet all the other Who fans that turned up, and we had a chat to a few people as usual. We didn't get a chance to talk to everybody. It's quite busy. Loads of people there. And then we went into our showing of Earthshock from the upcoming series
19,
thank you. Box set. We saw it in all its HD remastered glory with a fantastic audio mix as well.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Really good.
Yes. So has that changed your opinion, buddy, of Earthshock? Because I think we reviewed it fairly high, actually, because it's one of my fave Davison stories.
Yeah, no, I just loved it even more, actually. I think it's a great story. Brilliant to see it on the big screen. Like I said, the audio mix was good. And yeah, it did look good. I mean, these things were filmed on quite low budget videotape or whatever back then. It is incredible what they can do. It's never going to look like it was made yesterday, but I think they do an incredible job. And like you said, the sound mix was great. Yeah. Excellent in full surround sound bursting out at us. It was brilliant, actually. My favourite bits were we got to see a couple of the little extras that are going to be on the Blu-ray set as well. Yeah. And there was some great outtakes of Beryl Reid being really stroppy, wasn't she? really like, she's like, I'm bored. When are we going to do some filming? And she's like really kicking off at the producer. And he's like, yeah, sorry, Mrs. Reid, will we? Just a moment, just bear with us a moment. It's the BBC. And they were just great. And poor old Davison's in the background just looking like, uh-oh, she's off again.
He's off again.
Yeah, and it was brilliant, actually. Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. Packed cinema as well. Full house.
It was a full house, yeah, because, I mean, like you said, I love it when the sort of being with other Doctor Who fans as well as seeing, obviously, Earthshock on the big screen was great, but I managed to get there a little bit early so I could actually chat to you before we went in, because I'm not very good at getting up in the mornings, and I thought, if I miss that train, I'm literally going to get there as it starts. There were sort of two trains, and I managed to get there a bit early and mingle and chat, which was great. And there were so many people there that we sort of chat to regularly via Facebook and everything. It's really good to actually meet them and obviously chat afterwards as well in the bar. It was brilliant. But yeah, Earthshock looked and sounded fantastic, I thought. And I still regard it as a great story. And I think when we reviewed it, I might have been a little harsh on Beryl Reid. I think I said she was miscast and not particularly right for that part. Yeah. But I still sort of stand by that a little bit. But then having watched it, I think she does add a fun element to it, a bit of a guilty pleasure element to it, doesn't she? I think so.
Yeah, I think
the way she says, Mister. Get my bonus, Mister, all the time. It's quite funny, really. So, yeah, it was good, though.
It was. And I'd forgotten how many times the cyber leader said excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, I know. It's funny because I was thinking if you're playing a drinking game, you'd be smashed within the first part, I think. No, maybe not the first part because they turn up at the end, don't they? But yeah, he does say it a lot. actually.
Excellent.
I noticed it more. I'll tell you why I noticed it more. Watching it in there, because every time he said it, there was little chuckles in the audience, and it sort of heightened my awareness of how many times he actually says it.
It was great, wasn't it? It's
yeah.
like, Cyber Leader, we have captured them. Excellent. Cyber Leader, something's just happened. Excellent. Anita, we. Excellent. Maybe that could be a new text message tone on your phone.
Excellent. I also never know. Well, I've never really picked up on. There's a scene where these two Cybermen are just sort of, I don't know, they're just standing there in the corridor bit, having a natter, which I've never really sort of noticed before. But it got a few chuckles, and I was like, because it looks like they're having a little chat, doesn't it? And it's like two Cybermen just having a little. How have you been then? Oh, not too bad, but God, the old Cyber Leader, he don't have to go on. And, you know, you can sort of overdub a really funny little conversation on that scene. I think it's, I never really noticed that before. So it does, you know, when you watch it with other fans and in a group like that, you do sort of pick up on these things because there's little laughs and little groans and things in different bits. And it was a good experience. Yeah.
And they left in sort of Star Wars Episode 4 style-y, they left in the trip as well. So, you know, in Episode 4, you see one of the stormtroopers hit his head on the way in.
Yeah.
So in this one, you see the Cyber Leader trip down the last step as he's walking in front of the Doctor, and that got a little laugh as well. But I'd never noticed that.
I'd never. That's a prime example. I've never noticed that before either. Yeah.
They didn't cut it out though. They left it in. Fair play.
No, I'm glad.
Because Cybermen trip over too.
Yeah. I'm glad I'd hate it if they cut things out like that. I know there was a time when I think on some of the restoration they might have digitally removed a few boom shadows from some of the Hartnell stories, and I was thinking, no, that's part of it. That's part of when it was made in the charm. Like the restoration is brilliant, but I don't know. It must be hard to know where to draw the line, I suppose. But leave boom shadows in, leave all the fluffs, leave all the trips in. I think it makes the program even better.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we had a cracking time there. It was all very, very good.
We did.
I don't think we've been up to much else. I certainly haven't. No.
No, I haven't been up to much, mate. One thing I'd just go back to BFI, though, is that the Q&A with Eric and Matthew was, I thought, very entertaining.
Oh, yes.
In the sense that they were like chalk and cheese. Two totally different personalities,
funny,
weren't they?
Yeah, funny.
Very funny, yeah. I mean, Eric is very dry, sort of a lot of one-word answers, very, very quiet. Very quiet in answering, and I might answer that. It's very quiet. And Matthew's really loud, and he kept making Eric jump, didn't he? And it was so funny because Eric was like, Matthew, for goodness sake, can you give us a warning when you're going to shout like that? And so they were quite a funny pair, I thought, on that stage.
They were. And I think I said this to you afterwards or somebody else, but I'm still not 100% sold on what Matthew's answers were to a couple of questions.
As in you didn't believe what he was saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the main one was obviously him being killed off. And when the guy answered the question, he sort of without hesitation just blew into his answer like, yes, I thought, I'd read the script beforehand because I saw Peter had it. So I knew that Adric was going to die, and I thought it was the greatest thing. I thought it was such a great thing for a companion to die and stay dead, and I just thought it was a fantastic thing for the show, and I wasn't bothered at all. I loved it. And I thought, oh, come on. Because I think everybody who was involved in the show at that time, Peter, Sarah Sutton, Jeanette, even some of the crew, all of them say to the contrary. All of them say, don't they? That, he was a moody little so-and-so and was stroppy and didn't want to go and all the rest of it. But then you've got, nowadays, he's like, oh, I thought it was fantastic writing. I'm just not buying it, mate.
No, I think if Peter and particularly Janet had been there, I think he would have got shouted down.
I think so, yeah.
But I think because he had free reign, and obviously Eric isn't going to shout him down, but I think because he had almost the stage to himself, really. I think he took what do they call it, artistic liberties. I think he just because I suppose there's probably a truth in it now. I think if I was him, he's probably reflected on it, and he might feel like a bit of that now. That actually it was a good thing because it's quite it's something Doctor Who fans will remember, forever, isn't it? It's quite a pivotal moment, so it's good to be part of that. But yeah, I must admit, when he was saying all that, I kept thinking, I'm sure that's not what you've said in different interviews, and also I'm pretty sure in his book, I can't remember, I read his book ages ago, where he talks about himself in the third person, which is bizarre, but I'm sure in the book he says he wasn't very happy at the time. I don't know. Anyway, I must admit there were a few bits like you where I was thinking, okay, mate, yeah, whatever. But he was interesting. He was funny. He was quite good. Articulate, wasn't he?
He was.
And what I really liked is they did a little sign-in afterwards. And normally at these things, they'll come out of the sort of screening, and then there's a sort of corridor between the screening room and the green room door where they all go and get lashed. And they normally just sort of come out and sign in there. But I guess it creates a bit of a blockage because it's in that sort of hallway. So this time they actually gave him a little room, which made things so much more pleasant, because rather than sort of everyone bundling around them trying to get in, can I get one? Come on. It was just a nice orderly little queue up to a table where they sat and they signed. And I thought, that's really good. And they check your ticket as well. Because a lot of the time, when you get, I don't mean to be rude about Eric and Matthew, but the BFI gets some really, really big stars there. So, it's a good opportunity sometimes to meet somebody that, you might not otherwise get to meet and get an autograph. It doesn't always happen, but it can at the BFI. So it was nice that they, actually had the ticket thing, because a lot of dealers turn up and, just have about 20 things to sign, and you're trying to get your thing signed, and you're thinking, I've actually paid to be here. You've just turned up with your folder of goodies, and it can be a bit annoying. But yeah, I just thought it was really nice to have that table for them to sign at. It made things more pleasant and got us out of the way of blocking the BFI walkway as well. So that was good.
It was good. Yes.
Did you go into the signing? I didn't see you in there.
No, mate, because I forgot to bring I was going to bring my copy of Earthshock to get it signed, but as usual, something gets forgotten every time.
Oh, right.
So I just went straight to the bar, mate.
Straight to the bar. Yeah. That's what I took, actually, as my copy of Earthshock. I had a quick look online a couple of days before on Google Images to try and find a picture of Eric and a picture of Matthew to print out at home to take with me. There are not a lot of good pictures of those guys online. I've got to tell you, my partner actually gasped at the photo I found of it. I found one picture of Eric that I thought was reasonable, and it was a screen grab from one of the DVD extras, and he's sort of mid-flow talking. I thought, well, that's going to have to do because I can't find any. And my partner was like, God, who's that? I was like, no, it's just a very unflattering photo. It's just it's the only one I can find. So I abandoned those pictures in the end and just took my Earthshock DVD to get signed. So I was very happy with that. I got them to sign it inside as well, because a lot of people get them to sign the cover, and I quite like the artwork. I don't know, I've got this thing about not ruining the artwork. So I got them to sign inside the silver case, and it looks really good, actually. I wasn't sure whether it would work. I thought, am I going to regret that? But it looks really cool. So, yeah, I was happy with that.
Good times, mate.
Yeah, overall, mate, wasn't it? It's a cracking day. Another great day. And I can't wait for more, really. I just love these BFI events.
Yes, and I can't wait to get the box set itself. I know it's been pushed back again. I think it's December now, isn't it?
December it's gone back to, as I said, as long as they get the disc right this time, I don't care if they keep putting it back. But, yeah, December. And, I'm well looking forward to it, especially the little interview with Davison and Matthew Sweet. I don't know if you saw, but I had a really nice little chat with Matthew Sweet at the bar. He's the guy who interviewed. He did an interview with Tom Baker on the season 12, and he's done an interview with Peter on this one. And I saw him chatting, and I thought, I don't really want to interrupt him, but I wonder if I could get a sneaky pic with him. So I went up and I asked him, and to my delight, he was charming. You never know, do you?
You never know.
I looked at him and I thought, is he going to be one of these that'll be like, oh God? But he wasn't. He was really nice. We actually had probably about a 10-minute conversation at the bar about, we were talking about Tom Baker, actually. I was saying about how he's mellowed, and we were talking about the interview you did with him and Peter and all that sort of stuff. So it was a really good little chat. So that was a nice little highlight of the day as well. So, yeah, all in all, very good. You can always a good time at the bar.
Always.
Always a good time to be found at the bar.
Indeed. Yeah, and that's what's cool about these events as well. You often just hang out and chat about it and Doctor Who in general. It's very good. Very good.
Yeah, indeed.
Okie dokie. Based on that then, shall we land it and get this news out of the way?
Okay.
First bit of news then, the William Hartnell plaque that was unveiled recently over at Ealing Studios. The Doctor Who Appreciation Society have done a nice little sort of mini documentary about it and about William Hartnell himself. It lasts around half an hour, I think, which is really nice. It's the they've got cameras over there at the Ealing Studios, so they were there to see it being unveiled and stuff. And there's a bunch of interviews with a bunch of family and friends of William Hartnell, and it's also got some interviews on there that the DWAS has got in their archive, I think, which they've also put in there. So it's like a half an hour's worth of really cool little Hartnell-esque mini documentary from those guys. So it's just lovely. It's lovely to see that stuff, you know.
It's a nice little surprise, isn't it? That I mean, I haven't watched this yet. I'm going to watch it this afternoon. But yeah, what a lovely little thing to have, because there was William Russell was there, wasn't he? And Carol Ann Ford and I think Julian Glover. So yeah, that sounds really, really cool. We met Rick from DWAS, didn't we?
Rick Moran, yes. Yeah.
Was there the BFI thing on Saturday, and we had a really nice chat with him. So yes, that's great. I shall be watching that this afternoon.
Yes, DWAS online on YouTube, and it's their latest video. So give that a go. It's good.
Fantastic. Right, on to Series 11 ratings news, and they continue to be good. Hurrah!
Hurrah!
The general public are loving it, even if the fans aren't. No, I'm joking. No, it's good. It's a very healthy figure for Demons of the Punjab, which got 7.8 million viewers after they added on all the iPlayer bits and bobs and things, and it was the 8th most watched program of the week.
Cool.
So Doctor Who continuing to be very strong in the ratings, which is great, actually. I mean, despite my feelings on things that are right and wrong with Series 11, one thing I can't deny is that it's back in the public domain again and doing well. So yeah, that's great. Absolutely great.
Very cool. And Kerblam, the overnight figures for Kerblam was just under 6 million, so 5.93.
Right, so that might even be higher then. By the time they've added on all the bits. So yeah, it's doing well, isn't it?
It's doing very well, yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's been this talk about ratings slipping and stuff, but I think they're incredibly healthy viewing figures for all the episodes so far.
I would say so. And I think that's sort of par for the course for most TV series.
It is,
really.
yeah.
I think it starts strong, and they usually, even if it's a strong series, you still have a little bit of a lull. But not in a negative way. It's just the nature of the beast, isn't it?
And the time slot's changed as well, because it's been around 7 o'clock up until now, but it's these next few episodes, including Kerblam, are all going out at 6:30, so it's slightly earlier. And I wondered if that would affect things. And judging by the overnights for Kerblam, it's just made it even more viewers, so might even be a good thing.
Yeah, very cool.
Possibly.
And last bit of news: the Christmas Day special.
It's gone.
Right, Christmas Day. See you later. Doctor Who's been bumped to the next public holiday in around the world, which is New Year's Day. So we're not going to get the Xmas Special anymore. So no more Christmas turkey and stuffing and wine and chilling out. It's now going to be, come on, this hangover needs to get rid. I need to get rid of this hangover so I can enjoy Doctor Who. So I don't know how you feel about this. It's a really weird one for me, because for the last few years, I think the last 5, maybe 6 years, I've not even been in the UK over Christmas.
No, you haven't, no.
But I still love it on Christmas Day. It's just a traditional thing. It's just one of those things for me. But I know you don't mind this, do you?
Well, I'm just happy because it means I'll probably get to see it when it goes out, because I think, as I said on the last podcast, Christmas Day, I never get to hear a word of it. You know, even if it's on the TV, you know, I always spend it with all my family. So I never really get to watch it properly until, you know, the day after or whatever. So there's a good chance New Year's Day, I'll just be doing nothing. I'll be, you know, hungover in front of the TV. So I'll get to see it. But I do share your sadness about the Christmas Day thing. And I can see Stephen Moffat throwing his wine glass at the TV when he heard this
TV
news.
number 3 needed.
Yeah, TV number 3. Because, he fought so hard to keep the Christmas special, or so we are led to believe anyway. So I do have mixed feelings about it. I'll be honest with you. It's it does feel a bit sad not to have it on Christmas Day, because it kind of, Christmas Day is sort of the BBC highlight all their favourite shows with specials, don't they? Like
they do.
Call the Blimmin' Midwife and things like that, and EastEnders. But all the things that the BBC love and fawn over all the time, they like to have a special to say, look, here's our top shows, it's Christmas Day. So in that sense, I'm a bit sad that Doctor Who's not sort of in that bracket anymore, as far as the BBC are concerned, and that they've gone for a New Year's Day special instead. And also, I wonder if it's down to Chibbers. I don't know about you, but I think this is probably more Chibnall's decision than the BBC's. And I have nothing to back that up. It's just a gut feeling, because he didn't want to write the last Christmas special, so the Moff did it. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I?
Yeah, yes.
That was what was reported, that Chibnall did not want to write the Christmas special, so Moffat took over and did it, or he didn't want to start a series on a Christmas special or something. So maybe Chibnall just doesn't like the whole Christmas special thing. Maybe he doesn't want to write a Christmas episode, so he's bumped it to New Year's Day. Who knows? But yeah, either way, I'm sort of a little bit sad, but I'm also not too bothered. It'll suit me personally better on New Year's Day, but yeah, it does seem a bit sad not to have one on Christmas Day.
It does a little bit. And also, we've got a strange little gap now, haven't we? Because episode 10 will go out like the second week of December, so that's the end of series 11, and then you've got 2 weeks of me, and then you've got the New Year's Day special. So it seems a bit awkward to me. Don't know. It's probably fine. It's probably all good, but I would just prefer it on Crimbo Day.
Yeah, if I had a preference, I think I would put it on Christmas Day, but I'm not too bothered about it being New Year's Day. But if I had a preference, it would be Christmas Day.
Anyways, so don't worry about Christmas Day, everyone. Chibbers obviously doesn't. So just crack on, and then we'll see you on New Year's Day. You
can all enjoy EastEnders instead.
Oh, brilliant.
Good luck with that.
Crikey. The other thing also is that, does this mean that, is it like a club where when you leave, that's it? It's like when you split up with somebody, It's like, you don't come back. If you're going, then you're going. You're not coming back.
That is the other worrying thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Moffat was worried about when he said, I need to write the Christmas special or we won't get them anymore. So that is the other thing that's a bit worrying about it, yeah.
Is a little bit. Oh, well. Anyway, there are more things to worry about.
What's Dalek Tat worrying about?
Exactly, to see what he's bloody well got. Come on.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
What has he got then? Oh, just a couple of bits. Thank you.
Every time he comes in, he's always mumbling something about Daleks and Terry Nation. What's he on about? He keeps going, oh, no Daleks in Series 11. Is it because there's no Daleks in Series 11? Is that why he's all strophy?
Well, no, he's turned around now, because at the start of the series, he was very, very miffed. He was like, I'm not happy about this. So your normal response is, I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up and get on doing whatever you're doing. But now he's just very smug. He's like, where are your monsters now?
Oh, I see.
Where are your villains now?
Oh, is that what it is? I just can't work him out.
So he sort of did a little John Barrowman-esque little twirl then. Slammed the tray down, and now he's a bit sassy.
Sassy Dalek Tat.
Sassy Dalek, yeah. Anyways, I'll pick this up off the floor. Thank you. The guys over at Big Finish are continuing with the Time War.
Oh, yeah.
They did the... when was this out? I can't even remember when Volume 1 was out.
Nor can I. Haven't got a clue.
A little while ago.
They just released too much stuff. I can't keep track of it, honestly.
No. Anyways, if you liked the first volume of The Time War, was it a McGann story? Was it a McGann? No, I can't. Oh, crikey. I don't know. Anyways, The Time War Volume 2 is out on... it's not out until March 2019, but it is up for pre-order on the Big Finish website. And it comprises 4 stories. Havoc, by David Llewellyn, Partisans by Una McCormack, Collateral by Lisa McMullin, and Assassins by Matt Fitton. So some little one-word titles there. It all sounds pretty good. It stars Lala Ward, Sean Carlson, and Terence Hardiman. There's no blurb as yet. I can't give you a synopsis on stuff, but if you're a fan of the first one, you can go over and order it. 20 quid for digital, 23 for the CD.
Is that the Demon Headmaster guy on the front? Because it's got a really nice cover. Whoever's done the artwork, I like it. So it's a nice picture of Lala, some guy in the middle. That guy on the left in the sort of Rassilon looking clothes. Is that the Demon Headmaster guy?
I think so.
Do you remember the Demon Headmaster?
Yeah, from BBC. Yeah. I think so. I think it
looks
is,
like him. I don't know if it is, but yeah, someone out there will know.
Yeah,
I don't know the actor's name, so I can't confirm it. But it just looked a bit like him.
Yeah, Will Brooks did the cover.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I like it, Mr. Brooks. It's very nice. Yeah, he's managed to find a different picture of Lala as well. Do you know what I mean? Quite an unusual picture of Lala. I don't know where he's got that from, but it looks good.
I think
just quickly Googling the Demon Headmaster.
I think it's Terence Hardiman. And I think he plays Rassilon in this.
So it is him. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I know a lot, listeners of my age will remember that show. He was fantastic as this really scary,
it's brilliant.
Demon Headmaster. And it's really cool to see him and doing a bit of Big Finish. So very cool. Right. In other news, there's something called Black Friday.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
I've never quite got my head around this concept. So people used to go and have fights in shops over big TVs, but nowadays you can actually order these things online, so you don't have to have a fight anymore.
It's more civilized,
unless you want to. Well, it's much more civilized. Yeah, you can shout at your PC instead. And there's a couple of Amazon have put a couple of Doctor Who thingamajigs in this Black Friday sale. So anyone who hasn't yet got the Bill Potts action figure, Gary, I'm looking at you, you can now get it for £9.60, which is the lowest price it's been. Apparently this price does keep fluctuating as well. I don't know why it keeps going up and down and up and down. But at the minute it's £9.60 on Amazon. So somebody might want to grab one of those. I think there's only about 1,000 left, so you better be quick. You do have to spend a minimum of 20 quid to get free postage today, which really bugs me on Amazon. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've been like 1 penny below. And anyway, it's on there. You could also bump up your basket price with a couple of steel books. So they've got the Series 3 steel book in the Black Friday sale, which is $16.49 at the minute, which is good price.
Not too bad.
Yeah, you grabbed that, didn't you? Did you grab
I got that a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you'd got it from sale. I must be thinking to someone else. And the beautiful Series 2 steelbooks in the sale as well. And that's currently going for $15.39. Where do they get these prices? Anyway, so that's a very good price as well, because these normally retail about £30, don't they?
They do.
Or 25, somewhere around there. So it's quite a good reduction. And Series 2 steelbooks, lovely. Series 3 is good as well. They're all nice, yeah.
Yeah. Series 2, though, gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah. Well worth getting if you haven't already got them.
Yeah, so if you don't fancy a ruck down at IKEA or something, throwing a few fists around, then
that's right.
Then jump on there,
yeah.
Right, that's news and merch done. What are we reviewing this week, my good friend?
So this week, episode 7 of Series 11 called Kerblam.
Welcome to Kerblam.
Kerblam's the biggest retailer in this galaxy.
This came to me in a delivery.
A man is missing, and I don't think he's the first. I might start to suspect that you're responsible.
Kerblam. Kerblamo.
Kerblam.
Yes. Right, so it was out just this Sunday gone, the 18th of November. It was written by, I can't pronounce the surname. I'm going to give it a go. Pete.
Go on.
Matiga?
Matiga. I'm going to call him McTiger.
Pete McTiger.
It's not McTiger, but that's what I'm going to call him.
It was directed by Jennifer Perrow. Hope I'm saying that right as well. It's the usual TARDIS team, and then a relatively decent supporting cast in this one. The story is the Doctor gets a package via a teleported robot thing. And she, along with her very fetching Fez, she gets a little note and it just says very simply, help me. So they all go off to Kerblam, which is the huge kind of Amazon-style warehouse somewhere. And they find that something is afoot. So the robots, which they think are very creepy and stuff and something that's all right. It turns out it's one of the dudes that works there in maintenance. He's been siphoning off all of these robots over time under the disguise of a power drain to build up this very, very big army so he can send it all off to wherever, can't remember, and kill everybody with the bubble wrap.
Killer bubble wrap, hey?
Killer bubble wrap.
Who would thought we'd see that again?
Indeed. So that's Kerblam. What did you think to this one, buddy?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. That's about as much as I just thought it was a bit average, really. I thought it was okay. I thought it was enjoyable in the sense that it was a sort of little standalone story that sort of, didn't have any linking to anything else. And I guess it harked back to the sort of RTD Moffat era in that sense. I don't know. I was a bit surprised, really. When I went online afterwards, people were loving this. They were raving about it. Like saying, I really enjoyed that. It was the best episode this series. And I was thinking, really? I thought, it's all right. I'll give it another watch. Perhaps I'm in one of my moods, I thought. So I gave it another watch yesterday thinking, let's see, why are people raving about this thing? Because I didn't think it was bad. I thought some of the acting was bad. I thought some of the acting was atrocious in this one, which I think is what kind of ruined it for me a little bit. On a first watch, I was like, God, they're really hamming it up. So second watch yesterday, I still thought the acting was bad, but I can see why people liked it, and I did enjoy it. As I said, as an episode, I just wouldn't rave about it, I guess is what I'm saying. I just thought it was a fairly decent little adventure, and that's it. It didn't do much for me, really. I like the Kerblam Man robots. Okay. I thought, they're good, like that. Nice bit of creepiness. I like the fact that somebody actually got their comeuppance at the end, although in a way he wasn't really, he was evil, but he wasn't like a nasty villain. But it was good to see somebody getting their comeuppance at last in this series. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I wish I could see that the things that some people were saying about it afterwards. I really just cannot see anything amazing about this episode at all. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I did. I just didn't love it. What about you, mate? What do you think?
Yeah, I really, 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 really wanted to like this one.
I thought you were going to say really liked it, yeah.
But I just didn't like it, mate.
You didn't like it?
No. I just couldn't get... I watched it twice, obviously, like as we do. And I thought to myself, on the second one, things will be different. It's like things are always different in the morning. Just give it another go. But do you know what, mate? I just can't. I think I'm in the same boat as you in a way, where when I saw Twitter blow up afterwards, I was thinking, did I watch a different program here?
I know, and I hate that feeling.
I hate it as well, yeah.
I hate it because I feel like, oh no, I'm being Mr. Grumpy again. What are they seeing that I'm not seeing? Yeah. I
felt like that afterwards, mate. I thought, have I watched a different... I know what I've done, you idiot. I've watched last week's again. It was on Sky Plus. But now I was like, I just can't see it. And I thought, don't worry, I'll... Because the first watch, I watch it just as a fan. I don't watch it as a reviewer. I just watch... Because I know I'm going to watch it again for the podcast, and then I'll put my reviewer hat on. But for the first one, I just soak it all in. But both times, mate, I just thought, I don't know what it is. I'm just not feeling it at all. Not feeling it. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a terrible episode. We've seen a lot worse. But something just didn't... I just can't explain it. There wasn't anything that particularly shouted out to me that said, this is awful. Why am I sitting here watching this? I'm not going to get this 50 minutes back. It wasn't that. It was just... I just watched it and was just empty afterwards. I didn't feel like that was a great episode of Doctor Who. I didn't think it was terrible. And I've fallen into my own trap of, because I can't stand people that are indifferent about Doctor Who. But here I am being indifferent about it. And I just, I can't explain it, mate. I just cannot get into this one like and fair play to all the other, there's pretty much 90%, I would say, of all the Facebook and Twitter stuff that I saw afterwards. Everyone was loving it and it was great. And that's awesome. That's great. But I don't know. For me, I just didn't feel anything afterwards.
I can understand it, and I know exactly what you mean, because I'm like you. I will watch the episode, like just sit and enjoy it, or try to enjoy it on the first watch. When it airs, and then I watch it before we record, normally the night before, with my notepad, as like you said, with my reviewer hat on. But the first time I watch something, I'm not going in looking for things to criticize or anything. I'm just going in as a Doctor Who fan who wants to enjoy a piece of television, and that's it. Like you said, I don't have my reviewer hat on the first time, so it's just really to get a feeling of the episode and hopefully enjoy it on the first watch for me. And then the second time I try and look for things to talk about, and perhaps, oh yes, that did work, this didn't work, well, I liked that, I didn't like that. And I do get what you mean by when it finished. The first time a bit like you, I was like, well, yeah, it was all right. And then there was no sort of wow, there's none of that. That was brilliant sort of reaction. It was a sort of nothingness. So I guess I'm on the same page as you there. I just wonder if people are just sort of just like the fact it was a bit more of a. It was like the older style of writing of Doctor Who, in the terms that it was just a bit of a fun. There was a bit of running around. There was a bit on the conveyor belt. There was fun little scenes. It had a menacing robot, and it did feel more like this could sort of easily fit into the sort of David Tennant era, I would say.
Yes, no, I agree.
Easily.
Yep.
And I just wonder if that's why people enjoyed it so much, because they just were relieved that we finally got an episode like that compared to last week's, which was a very serious drama piece, really, which bizarrely I absolutely loved. To me, last week's episode was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and this week's did nothing for me. But it seems a lot of people the other way round, because this seems to be what they consider to be a more traditional Doctor Who story. Yeah. And I don't think there's any such thing with Doctor Who. But you know what I'm trying to say. I just wonder if people are like, yeah, that's more like it. That's Doctor Who right there. Going in, robots, baddies, and that's what they wanted to see. So maybe that's why they enjoyed it more. I don't know. And I wish I did. I'm very much like you. I don't want to come on here moaning every week about Doctor Who, and that's not what I'm doing. But I do want to enjoy it. And just found it was a bit, because it's such a short run, this series, it's just feeling like, okay, well, that's another episode off the... that's another one that's going to be on the Blu-ray set that I'm not going to be that bothered about watching, again, sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I read you, mate. It's true. We've only got 3 episodes left, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
After this. So it's, and I don't want to put, I don't want to be like that. In the same way you don't either. I don't want to be like, time's running out. When are we going to have that cracker of it? Because we've had some very, very good stuff so far. Some really good things. I don't know. I'm just going to stop because I can't explain. It would take another podcast, I think, to try and put down why certain things aren't working and why they're not. I think it just boils down to good old, just didn't like it. I think that's all it is. I'm not going to try and, give you some big spiel about how Jodie's not doing things right or how Chibbers hasn't quite done this or the writer didn't do that. I think it was a solid episode. I think rightly so. A lot of people liked it. I just didn't. I can't explain it any more than that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some good stuff though, because there were some good elements in there.
Yeah.
Did you like the production values? I thought the robots looked very cool with that sort of grim, that sort of sinister, because they were always smiling, which always makes it a bit more sinister. So
I loved it. I did love the Kerblam man robots. Yeah, I did. They were suitably creepy, and they felt, because there's an actor inside. Sorry to ruin the illusion, but because there's an actor inside, it gave it that slightly human quality of anything could happen. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because you could they weren't sort of doing their robotic acting; they were sort of just almost being walking normally with this robotic suit on, which made them sort of almost human and even more creepy, if you know what I mean. Because the bit where they're sort of in the warehouse and they're just sort of there lurking, and I thought they were used really well. Mm-hmm. They were creepy. I would say they're the creepiest thing we've had in it. in Series 11.
Far, yeah.
Yeah, so far. They definitely sort of put me on edge. And the best scene for me was when poor old Lee Mack's character, Dan, when he went down there and you just saw it grab his shoulders and then it immediately cut to a wide shot. And I thought that was a brilliant bit of editing because it really made me go, whoa, what's just happened to Dan, you know? So I thought they were used really well and I did like them in it, yeah.
Yeah, I did. And I
like the look of them as well.
They did look cool, like the bright eyes and the smile and stuff. It just had
and the voice. The voice of it as well was creepy.
Yeah, very cool. And because it's nothing new, is it? We've seen robots and androids go bad in Doctor Who a few times before.
That's the only thing I would say. It's not exactly original. You know, it's a very robots of death type scenario.
Of course,
but I'll let it off because it entertained me. And I did think they looked good. The voice of them was Matthew Granville, apparently. And I'm just looking because I think people were saying he was the killer in Broadchurch.
Yes,
so it might be one of Chibbers' actor mates again. But yeah, I really liked the voicing because it was quite a sort of, again, a bit robots of death, wasn't it? It was quite a sort of not posh, but a very sort of down-to-earth accent, which made them very creepy, I thought.
Yeah, he was Matthew Gravel. He was Joe Miller in Broadchurch.
Right. Gosh, if anyone hasn't seen it, I've just ruined who the killer was.
I think the spoilers time frame is well and truly.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Up on that one. Yeah. But yeah, it's so the robots thing, not original, but still pretty creepy and sinister. Was quite good.
They looked good, and they were good with the humour as well, because there was a bit that I liked where they were saying, great conversation, guys, but let's have a bit more productivity and all that. So I liked that because it was funny, but it was also a little bit creepy because they're looking at you like you could almost imagine them finishing that sentence with, let's have a bit more productivity or you'll die. You know, they say, I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. What do you think to the sort of the storyline then around the robots? Because it kind of, again, this isn't anything unoriginal, but it alluded to like a far off future where a lot of humans' roles have been replaced by machinery and robots and stuff. But there's this sort of fight back happening where all of the workforces, I'm not sure if it's like a galaxy wide thing or if it's just on the planet and this moon where this was set. But there has to be at least a 10% human workforce there. It can't all be robots and machines and stuff. So it kind of alluded to, because that is one thing that's always, since the age of sort of engineering and stuff, it's always been a gradual thing. You know, are humans going to be replaced by, are humans' jobs going to be replaced by robots and computers and all that stuff? So it did allude to sort of a common sci-fi sort of story thing. So I thought it was quite good though, how it was linked into something just completely non-serious. So they could have done it in like a big pharmaceutical thing. It could be a big biohazardy thing. It could whatever. But they decided to set it in just this retail, Amazon style warehouse. So I thought that was a nice sort of flip. It could have been a very serious episode, but it was quite funny. Did you think the story was sort of worthy?
Yeah, I like that kind of storyline because it's quite relatable, isn't it? It's something we're all aware of that, any day now we could all be replaced by machines. And so, I did like that style of story, and I've worked in sort of places like that before as well. And so, I did, as I said, just because I thought it was quite relatable, and you could sort of see why the guy who actually turns out to be the villain does, in a way, what he's doing. You sort of think, oh, okay, there was a reason for him. He wasn't just an evil baddie doing it to be horrible. He actually was trying to sort of do it for a good cause, although what he was trying to do was obviously terrible, but, there was a reason for it. So it all kind of tied in terms of the storyline, I thought, which was good, yeah.
No, it was pretty good. Yes. And what did you think so just very, very quickly, every episode we've always said it looks fantastic. Do you think that that's carried through still? Do you think this episode in terms of visuals was all good?
I think this is probably the one that, the less budget, when they're put in the budget for each episode, they probably thought, well, that one we can cut back a bit and give more to this episode, because it was quite contained. It was mostly in that warehouse, and it still looked good. I don't mean it as a bad thing. The episode still looked good, but it wasn't as visually striking as we've had every week. But that's not a bad thing. It makes the episode different. But I did think the bit on the conveyor belt looked great, because obviously it was. I assume that was green screen. I don't know. I don't know how they did it.
I would say so.
The bit where Ryan and Yaz and what's his name? The guy who turned evil. Charles, was it?
What was his
Can't remember his name now. I can't remember his name.
Charlie.
That's nothing new. Charlie, yeah, Charles. So I just poshed him up a bit. Charlie. Yeah, the bit where they were on the conveyor belt and he gives him the high five and he falls to the next conveyor belt and they have to jump. Oh, yeah. I thought that looked really good. I mean, I couldn't work out. It must have been green screen, I guess.
It would. Yeah, it would. Yeah.
But it looked pretty decent, didn't it? It didn't look like you didn't get to that bit and think, oh dear, the money's run out sort of thing. I thought it looked pretty decent. And the shot of the TARDIS landing, that was quite sort of Seventh Doctor era. I liked that with the pink moon or whatever it was. And so, yeah, I think it looked okay. It just, as I said, it looks like it was the sort of budget episode of the series, but they still made good use of what they had. The garden. It was all quite simple stuff this week. Wasn't great visual landscapes and special effects. And I thought the TARDIS interior looked quite nice at the beginning, because we got to see sort of like that they look through the walls, and that seems to be the scanner now. And I thought, yeah, that's quite nice. You know what I mean? She was like, they were like looking at something. I can't remember what it was now, but I thought, yeah, that's quite a nice idea. I mean, I'm never going to love that interior, but it's beautifully sort of lit in its own way for what it is. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just laugh every time I see the very last shot, and I'm sure you were the same. When Graham puts the box on the floor and we get that low angle shot looking up, and you see the little fingers, I'm going to call them, the little just going up and down, like I don't know. It just looks tacky, but yeah, I thought it looked nice at the start. I thought, the way it was lit and everything. It's is it growing on me? I don't know, slightly. I'm never going to love that console, but I don't know. Sometimes when we get to see a bit more of it like that, I think it looks better.
No, it's it's not. It hasn't grown on me. I'll be honest, but it's interesting. It was a funny scene to open up with.
It was the Kerblam man. Yeah.
Doctor getting very excited about it and opening up the fez, of course, which is a nice little nod.
The fez, nice little nod, yeah. And Ryan definitely pops the bubble wrap though. So what's going on there? He definitely, because I've specifically watched carefully on the second watch to see if he did, because the first time I watched it, I was like, well, hang on, I'm sure Ryan popped the bubble wrap in the beginning, so why didn't it?
Oh yeah, a lot of people said that. It's an easy one to get round.
The TARDIS?
No, it's just that if you think about how the size of the Kerblam factory, the warehouse, and I think earlier on in the story they did allude to how many workers were there and how many parcels were going out. That guy who was sabotaging them, he wasn't sabotaging every parcel that went out.
Oh, I see.
So there was like millions of parcels that went out completely fine. He was just doing them in like little, which is why you get those power drains now and then. That was when he was, doing his thing.
Doing his thing. I get you.
So
okay, that's good then.
Yeah. But yeah, the scene with the conveyor belt and all that stuff, it was very. Have you ever seen Monsters Inc?
Yeah, I love it.
The bit when they go into the whole warehouse bit with all the doors and they had that chase scene for all that. I thought it was just like that.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that.
Yeah, yeah. It was well done though. And there was there was a bit before that which you could see that the filmmaking technique didn't quite work for me. So when they're at the higher level, because before that they said we need to get down to the basement level, and what's her face from Corrie? What's her name?
Yeah, I know.
Julie. Yeah, she said, "Oh, you can't even get down there. There's not even a route to get down there." So Ryan has this idea that they'll jump down the chute. So this is before they land on the conveyor belts in the big Monsters Inc. bit. So when they're flying down the chute, the way that they tried to do it was not the actors sliding down past the camera. It was like a big wind machine on their face.
Oh right.
And when I saw that, especially on the second watch, I was like, this is not this doesn't work at all.
Oh, I'll have to look out for that then next time I watch this. I didn't notice that. I must admit, I've got to be terribly honest. I hate to admit this. I was on my phone a bit the second time I watched this. And that's probably one of those bits, and I know that's a terrible thing to admit, but I was a bit bored the second time. That's probably one of the bits where I wasn't watching, but I'll have a look next time, see if I can spot it.
Yeah, I can see what they try to do. It's like the reverse of what you're trying to achieve, but which is not as much work, but anyways. But no, I thought the whole conveyor belt scene was all very good, and Ryan was really funny during that scene. And
yes, he was. Yeah,
he loves all
I
that
liked
stuff,
him in that bit
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
What do you think to the look and feel of everything then? Because it had a very clean cut, futuristic. Some of the sets were very nice.
Yeah, I thought it looked, as I said, I think they worked well with they used lighting a lot in this episode to make, if you think about it, a lot of it's sort of warehouse packing, containers and stuff. It's a pretty boring set, but they managed to light them really nicely and make them look quite interesting and good. Even the little bit where they're, putting the parcels together looked, beautifully lit and everything. So yeah, I think they made the most of what they had. To be honest, I think it looked pretty good. The music was quite different this week as well.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I thought, and because that added to the whole feel of the episode, and I like it. I think Sagan. I think he's, it's shown that he could sort of mix it up a bit. Because as much as I loved Murray Gold, he did sometimes churn out the same sort of little bits of incidental stuff every week. Whereas I thought Sagan, he still got those sort of chord riffs coming in, but there was a bit more sort of more guitar-y type stuff this week, and it suited the episode very well, I thought. So yeah, sort of the look and feel of it, I thought was good. Yeah,
absolutely. I think one of the things that's been just top notch throughout all of Series 11 is Sagan's music. All of it's been like, what a delight though, because there must have been a little bit of concern when you've had Murray Gold who's done it for so long, and that's just what the fans know. For 13 years or whatever it was, that's just the music from Doctor Who. So when you make a big change like that, because even when they've changed Doctors and they've changed themes and intros and all that stuff, his music has always been there. And even though he's changed it up a little bit, it's still got that Murray Gold feel. So when you have someone else come in, it's like, is this going to work? Because it's a bit experimental at times and a bit different, but he's just nailed it every single week. I mean, there was a couple of them where I didn't really hear his music that much. There was one story. What was it? I think it was a Saranga conundrum. Actually, there wasn't a great deal of music in it, but he's just been brilliant. Yeah,
I think was it the Spider episode you said you didn't notice him much? I can't remember now.
It might have been that one. Yeah.
But I do. I'm really liking his score. I'm really liking the different feel that he's brought to the show. It totally fits. So far, it's totally fitted each episode really well. I think if he carries on and does Series 12, whenever that might be, I think he will need to mix it up again, though. There's this chord sound that he's got, which he's using a lot, and I'm not bored of it in any way yet. But if he was to continue using it, I can see myself getting a little bit bored of it. So I hope he'd have to mix things up in Series 12 if he carries on. But I'm loving what he's doing so far.
Okay. No, I agree, mate. Completely agree. It's can't wait to get a hold of the soundtrack when they release it. Crikey.
Me too. Yeah.
Let's talk about some characters then. So the antagonist, Charlie
boy,
the little maintenance guy that we all took to initially and thought he was a nice sweet guy, turned out to be a little beep.
I didn't see that twist coming, I'll be honest. Did you?
No, not at all.
No, so that's another good thing. Because I must admit, when it turned out to be him, I was just like, oh, right. I did think it was a very good twist, yeah. And I love the fact that it's because he was at the window trying to stop character. What was her name? Kira, was it? Trying to pop the bubble wrap. He's like, no. And I thought, so they then realised that he knows what's going to happen. And so, yeah. So it was a good reveal, I thought, and a nice twist. Yeah. And as I said, I didn't see it coming, so it was good. In regards to his acting, I thought he was pretty ropey up until that point, though. Like as soon as he turned bad, he seemed to come alive. He seemed to really go for it. And I thought, he's quite good. But up until then, he was very sort of theatre acting in his performance, especially the awkward scene between him and Kira, where they're like, that awkward looking at the ground. Oh, that was so badly acted between the both of them. But so, yeah, I don't know. He saved himself for me in terms of his acting at that point, because I'd sort of written him off up till then. I was thinking, he's not a very good actor, is he? Because he's sort of playing this sort of wet,
Yeah.
But yeah, he did come good in that point,
Yeah. No, you've hit the nail on the head with that, mate. I thought, what was the guy's name? Leo Flanagan. He was a bit, I think he was playing it reasonably okay before he went baddie. So I think he came across as this sort of love-struck little puppy, good guy, which was okay. But then, I think when he turned bad, he sort of ramped it up a little bit, especially when he had that big rant in front of the Doctor and those guys about why he's, it's like a James Bond villain moment where the plan all comes out,
Yeah.
He sort of ramped it up a bit then, and he was really cool. But before then, he was a bit.
I liked it when he threw the thing down on the floor and smashed it. It's like, see, you can't stop it now. Smash the thing up, and she's like, oh no. The little device is all smashed. And that. What did you think about him getting his comeuppance? I don't know if that's the right way to say it, really, because although what he was doing was a terrible thing, he was sort of trying to save jobs for the human. There was a sort of good thing behind his thought pattern, wasn't there? So the way he executed his plan was awful because he's going to kill people to make his point, but he was basically doing it so that the humans, so that humans will always have jobs. So there was a good thing behind it. But what did you think about him being blown up? I mean, for me, it was like finally someone bad, has not just walked out of the room and left like we've had every, or disappeared like we've had every week. So finally something's happened to someone. But also the Doctor she didn't make much effort to save him. She's like, this is your last chance, come on. But do you think it was good? Do you think it was a good moment when he got blown to bits? Did he deserve it?
I think so. Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's about to commit an act of terrorism.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to justify what he was trying to do, but yeah.
So I think just on that basis alone, and the Doctor did give him a couple of chances. She gave him a couple of opportunities to jack it in, and everything would have been okay. But I don't know. I think sometimes Doctor Who just needs to do that.
Oh, it definitely needed it, especially this series. God, I'd have liked to have seen that happen to the racist time traveller. I mean, he really needed his comeuppance. He just disappeared, So yeah, this series definitely needed it, I thought.
Yes. So I wasn't too. Well, don't get me wrong. I didn't afterwards think, oh no, not Charlie.
Did I? No.
But
I was just thinking, another side to the Doctor where she's like, starting to find her feet a bit, saying, come on, you've only got one chance, or I'm going to leave you. I thought, okay, that's quite good. Talking of budget, actually, you're saying about the look of the episode, all those Kerblam men that were all lined up, like the Kerblam army, looked fantastic, didn't it? I assume that they were partially CGI'd. I very much doubt they had all those. So there must have been, they probably had like 10 and then duplicated them using, a computer. But that looked fantastic, didn't it, when the Kerblam army was revealed?
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that did look good.
Very, very cool. What did you think to Kira then? The very sweet little.
Oh dear, sweet Kira. Who only ever got one present in her whole life. Yeah. She was all right, wasn't she? Again, she was a bit like Charlie in that sometimes I thought she was quite good, and other times I thought her acting was terrible. So I thought she was quite good at the start when she's talking about why she does her job. I thought she was bad when she was trying to do the little flirty thing with Charlie. But then I think she came quite good again when she was locked in the room and was just like, what's going on? And so she was okay. She was she wasn't too bad in her performance.
Yeah, same. She was okay.
Yeah, she was likable enough. You know what I mean? I wasn't sort of sat there thinking, oh, blimey, she's bad. She was likable, I think.
And I think her character's in there to provide sort of the emotional connection for us, to anchor onto, so that when she does die, it's, a bit more of a shock. But yeah. And again, I didn't realise she was going to die.
No, I didn't. No, I was surprised by that. Yeah.
What about the character called Slade, played by Callum Dixon? He's came across as the very uptight manager type of guy.
Yeah, I know what he was going for, but he didn't really work for me in terms of his acting. I just thought he was a bit rubbish, really. I mean, I get the character he was trying to portray, and I think he was okay. But I was just sort of thinking, oh dear, not the best actor, really.
It was
not very believable. Do you know what I mean? He's a bit pantomime villain, even though he didn't turn out to be the villain. He was sort of trying to be this hard-nosed boss. He's got the clipboard, and I just thought he was just a bit wet, really.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah,
can't argue with that, mate.
Yeah.
What about Dan then, played by Lee Mack?
Oh, I liked Dan.
He was cool, wasn't he?
Dan. I kept thinking of Alan Partridge. Dan.
You can't hear me. Dan. Yeah.
No, I like Lee Mack. I mean, he's playing the same sort of character that he always plays, and I have no problem with that. I think he's likable. I thought he was fun. I love the bit where he's got the poster and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm on a poster," and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I'll kind of wish he'd been in it a bit more. I wish he'd, if you're going to kill him off, I'll kill him off a bit later on, because I wanted him to be in it more. So there's a nice scenes between him and Yaz. I thought it was good. Yeah, I really liked him in it.
Yeah, I thought, do you know what? Because I think Lee Mack is a huge Doctor Who fan in real life. He's a bit like...
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite up there with Frank Spencer, but I think he's a huge...
Frank Skinner.
Oh, did I say Frank Spencer?
Frank Spencer.
Oh,
Betty.
Oh, man. Why did I say that? So
he's
brilliant. He's not quite up there with Frank Skinner, but he is a huge fan nonetheless. So I think from his point of view, I think he just loved to be in it. Even if he was in it for 10 seconds, he would have loved it. But I think his character, though, should have been in it quite a bit more.
Oh, I'd like him to have been in it more before he was bumped off, because I was really liking him. And again, his performance was nice. He's not the best actor, but it was a nice performance and likable, I would like to see more of him.
What about Judy Maddox then, played by, what's her name? Julie Hesman.
What's her name?
Julie Hesman I can never say it properly, but...
Yeah.
What was her? I only know her from Corrie, really, and Broadchurch.
Yeah, I was going to say the same here, mate.
Early from Corrie.
I've got to be honest, I was a bit disappointed in her performance. No, because she's such a good actress.
She is
and
great,
she's giving this really over-the-top... I'm laughing at everything. Oh, I'm talking too much, aren't I? I was thinking, for crying out loud, Julie, bring it down a bit, You're not on stage. Yeah. Just stop acting over the top so much. I was really quite disappointed. She had the look. I think the character was there for her to play, but she just hammed it up way too much. That stupid giggle that she did in between every other line.
Right.
And I don't know if that's down to the director telling her to be like that. Because, as I said, Julie is a good actor. I've seen her in other things. She could have been fantastic in that part, but she was just too over the top for me. I kept thinking, tone it down, Julie. In other words, and this happens a lot, I felt like she wasn't taking it seriously. And with an episode like this that is fun, you can be like that to an extent. Like Lee Mack, I think, got it right. He got a good sort of line between serious and comedy. For me, she was just, it was as if it was like, oh, I'm in a kid's show. Oh, I'm going to be really zany and funny, and oh, I'm really stupid, aren't I? And I just thought if she just toned it down a bit, I think she could have been a lot better. So yeah, I was just a bit disappointed with her, really. I'm not saying she was awful, because she wasn't. She was okay, but just knowing how good she can be, I just found the performance a bit disappointing. Yeah, what did you think to her?
I thought she was okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't think she was... Well, she's not as good as... When I saw her in Broadchurch, was it last year or the year before?
Yeah.
I thought her performance in that was like...
Oh, it was fantastic.
Like whatever the TV award thing is. BAFTA?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
She's a great actor, yeah.
It was worthy of an award for sure. So it wasn't up there with that, absolutely not. But I thought she was okay, though. I thought she played the... You can tell that she was sort of fighting for a cause a little bit. But she was also taken aback by the doctor. When the doctor said, I'm going to hold you responsible sort of thing, that knocks her for six a little bit, and she's a bit,
Yeah, I think she was just trying to play it a bit too light. I can see what she was trying to do, and like I said, she wasn't bad. She was still likable in it. It's just that, I don't know, I just found myself getting irritated by her sort of gurning and the silly giggles, and I just wanted to tone it down a bit. I think she could have been fantastic in this. She could, because it was quite a sort of fun episode. She just could have brought a bit more to that darker side of a fun. You can have dark and light mixing really well, And I just thought she was a bit too OTT.
Righto. TARDIS team. Yaz.
TARDIS team, them. Yaz. I like Yaz this week. I know she's not being given much to do, bless her, but, scenes with Dan, great. I loved the end scene when she said, can we go back and give her daughter her dad's thing? Lovely, lovely scene. And I thought she worked very well with Jodie in that scene, the nice little sort of interaction and looks and stuff. So, yeah, I liked Yaz in it, even though, as I said, maybe not given that much to do again, but I thought she was good in her performance.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same. But then in the same thought, I also, you can't, because we've got a, dare I say it, busy TARDIS team. I don't want to use that word too fleet, but you know what I mean? It's with three companions or friends or whatever you want to, God's sake.
Yeah.
I thought that you can't give them all something to do. You can't all give them meaty stuff to do in every episode, otherwise it just gets too.
Eric Saywood said that at BFI, didn't he? He's like too big a TARDIS team. He's a writer.
Yeah.
And he's saying, it's difficult. Good thing with this story is it because of the nature of the story and all the different job roles, it did lend itself to being able to give them stuff to do. Yeah. But if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's just, it seems to be in each episode, it's either Ryan who gets the stuff to do or it's Yaz.
Yeah.
The two of them never have an equal weighting, it seems, but which is fine. That's not a complaint. It's just an observation, really. But yeah, so she was really good again, especially that end scene, really lovely. Ryan had a bit more to do, though. What do you reckon to Tosin in this one? He was really funny, I thought, again.
I thought he was funny as well. I thought he was really good because he was doing the whole, he's saying like, I did this back on Earth, this sort of job, and the high-fiving and stuff, jumping down the chute. He's quite good at handling the comedy as well as the action, actually.
Yeah.
I think, Tosin. So, yeah, I thought he was good in it this week.
I did. And there's those scenes as well. It's because sometimes he gets thrown into a scene and I think they want him to be really funny and it feels a bit forced. Like with when he went up against the sniper bots, it's like, oh, Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
And he's into it. And you just think, well, it sort of landed a bit flat because I think the writing sort of forced him to try and be funny. And when he comes across as just very quick-witted and naturally funny is when he's actually funny,
I'm with you. Yeah.
So I think it worked. He worked well in this one. I thought he did.
Yeah.
Well. What about Bradley Walsh then? Oh, Graham.
I'm going to use the word consistent. Okay. I thought he was good in it. There was no nice little moving moments from Graham Sweet, but that's fine because we don't need that every week. So I think he was good. I liked his reaction when he got given the mop.
Yeah.
He's like, oh God, you're joking. There was a good bit between him and Charlie, actually. And I forget what it was. I remember thinking, oh, that was well played. Like just the way he acted with him.
When they're down in the maintenance room.
In the maintenance room, yeah. Just a very natural performance from him.
Yeah.
He's just so believable, really. I think he could literally walk out of the screen into your life, and he is a very realistic actor.
Yeah.
He feels like a fully rounded character. So, yeah, I just thought he was consistently good. I liked him again this week.
No, I agree, and it kind of smacked a little bit again of what story was it? The Saranga conundrum.
Oh yeah,
it did feel a little bit like he was just sidelined a little bit more than usual in this one. But that's not really a bad thing because he did. We had the hello cockle. We had all that
hello
stuff.
Cockle. Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing, but
I will say this: he is, and I don't think this is intentional, but there are a couple of scenes lately where he is starting to look a bit bored in his body language. And that might sound a strange thing to say. So I mentioned the other week that he stood with his hands in his pockets and just sort of looking around a bit, And then this week he's like leaning on the desk when they're getting signed in, almost really, like you do when you're bored, you just sort of lean on stuff and you put your hands in your pocket. So I don't know if it's intentional or if he's just a bit bored. But yeah, I've just noticed a couple of scenes like that where I think he really does look genuinely bored. Like, he doesn't look like he's on a space adventure.
Yeah, true.
But it's not a criticism, really. It's just something I've picked up on. But I don't know if it's intentional or not.
I like that he calls the Doctor Doc still. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I know, but I'm willing her to say it at least once. Please kindly refrain from referring to me as Doc. Just once, let her say it. Yeah.
So Jodie, then let's get on to our
Jodie.
Doctor. I would say she was good in this one. Not amazing, but good.
Yeah, I was going to say good. I find she's up and down like a yo-yo in her performance. There are bits where I really love her, and then she goes and does a silly face or something, and I just think, oh dear. That's the only way I can explain it. I thought she was good in this. I like. There was a great scene. I think this is actually a good example, right? So there's a great scene where she goes in and she's being really tough, and she's like, "If I find out this is down to you, you're going to answer to me." Mm-hmm. I thought, yes, well done. What's his name? Pete McTiger. That's the way we want our Doctor written, taking charge. What's he going to do? Throws it straight out the window. She turns around and goes, "Oh, was that all right? It wasn't too much, was it? Oh, sorry." I'm like, no, don't do that.
I know.
You've just made the Doctor strong. And then she immediately turns around and has to ask her companions, "Oh, was that a bit too much? Was I a bit too severe?" And I'm just like, you've just completely just undone it.
I know.
And I thought, what a shame, because we finally saw some great moments from Jodie in this, where she was really on top form, I thought. And then we saw some really, moments like that just completely undid it for her. And also the biggest problem I have, and this definitely 100% is down to the writing, is when she has to explain stuff, because she does it in this really almost as if she's talking to the audience voice. So maybe it's down to performance as well, thinking about it. When she, when she's sort of explaining what the situation is, she really goes into detail. And the way she does it is she sort of says it in this sort of tone that's, it sounds like she's reading it off a page. And she's done it a few times now. So she's like, do you know what I'm talking about? So she'll say, he's going to do that because they go up to there and now they're going to do that. And I'm thinking, why is she sounds like she's reading a book. And it really, really irritates me. It's the expedition. The way she does it is just so forced. It doesn't feel like the Doctor's talking naturally to someone. It feels like she's explaining the situation to the viewer without looking at us. And it's down to the writing, and it is actually, thinking about it, is down to her performance as well and the way she's doing it. But she's done it a few times now, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's been a few scenes. There was the end of this episode when she was explaining what the gunk was and why it was there and all that. In the Saranga conundrum, she was doing it when she was talking about the energy particles, and it's just just feels incredibly forced, all this expedition that she has to give. And I just wish they'd tone that down a bit, because it irritates me, quite frankly.
Does it?
So yeah. So
you hide it very well.
So moments of greatness from the Doctor. I love the fact that she referenced the unicorn and the wasp this week when they were going into hiding.
That was cool.
I thought some of the face-off scenes between her and various characters were done well. But yeah, I think other times she just, as I said, she just goes up and down in her performance. There's no consistency for me. So I thought she was good, but I didn't think she was great.
I read you. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And it's another one of those things where I mentioned earlier that after the episode, looking on Twitter and stuff and just seeing just the raft of positive reviews and everything. One thing that I did see a lot was people saying, Jodie's finally found the Doctor that she wants to be, and Jodie tonight was finally my Doctor, and she stepped up. But again, that was one of those things where I thought I've watched the wrong episode.
Yeah.
I've completely missed it. I've fallen asleep. I've got what's the word? I've got sort of narcolepsy, and I've just drifted off unintentionally for 5 minutes. I don't know, but she was good. Don't get me wrong. She was good, and she is good. She is very good. And this is not a contradiction, because a few people have said this. You're contradicting yourself. You're saying that she's good, but then you're slating her. I'm not slating her at all. And she is good. She's great. It's just that I don't feel like she's... And this has happened every week. It's like you watch a scene and you think, like you mentioned earlier, when she's like, you're going to answer to me, and she's strong and she's confident, she's taking control. And you think, right, here she is. She's on her way. But then it just gets undone, like you said, within
I couldn't believe it when
seconds,
she turned around and did that. I was like, for goodness sake. Like, there was a great scene when she stood up to the factory boss, wasn't there? She was like saying, right, don't talk to her like that.
Yeah.
If she's been really strong in scenes like that. She was great. Yeah. But it was another episode as well where the Sonic just getting used every 2 blimmin' minutes. So excuse my language. Every 2 minutes that Sonic is being whipped out and just solving this is what it is. Let me just scan it. Yeah, I've got it. Let me just zap that. Let me just get us signed in with the Sonic. That blimmin' Sonic is just driving me up the wall. I want it to be destroyed. I literally just want it to be blown to pieces. I'm sick of it.
My finger's hovering over the rant jingle, mate. I'm just...
Save it for the finale. We've got 3 more episodes to get through. Yeah. Honestly, Sonic's driving me mad. I mean, she used the psychic paper and the Sonic at the same time. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I was speaking to a couple of people after the showing of Earthshock at the BFI, and when they said, what do you think to Jodie and Series 11 and stuff? We went through a few things, and I think I spoke to 3 people about it, just in general. And we all said the same thing. It's like, what's going on with the Sonic? Why is it being used every 10 seconds? And why is she doing this big gesture? And somebody I spoke to, George, who I don't think I'd met him before. He's a really cool guy. He said, doesn't it feel like a Harry Potter moment?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So if anyone that's watched the Harry Potter films, the majority of times where somebody gets their wand and casts a spell, it's exactly that gesture, that motion. Mm-hmm. So it does feel very OTT and Harry Potter. Yeah.
You almost wait for her to say like one of, like when in Harry Potter they say, because I'm not a Potter fan, so I don't know, they say Expelliarmus or whatever they say. Yeah, you almost expect her to say something like that when she does it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's got to go. I think overall though, in the episode, I think her performance was good, really, really good. It just feels like the writing's just holding her back a little bit. It's like if you're going to give her this conviction to like stand by her words and put fear in somebody and just take charge, then do that. Don't unwind 10 seconds later and make her this sort of coy, I don't know what. Just,
I mean, maybe in the first episode, like, because people might be shouting us saying, yeah, she's still trying to figure out who she is, what doctor she is, but come on, this is episode 7 of 10.
Yeah.
She should be the doctor by now. She shouldn't still be saying, because she even said it, didn't she, in episode 5 or whatever? I'm still trying to figure myself out. Well, you've only got one series this year, and then it could be another year wait. How long are you going to take to figure yourself out? Just get on with it. Yeah, it's just, again, it is down to the writing though, isn't it? I mean,
I think so.
She should be the doctor by now, not still, am I being too harsh? She shouldn't still be asking herself that. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Right. Is there anything else that you want to rant about?
No, I think I've ranted about it all.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's me to go first. And I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10.
Good Lord, 4 out of 10. Okay. I'm a bit ahead of you. I'm giving it a 6.5.
Okay. Yep.
Is that my lowest? Oh, no. So I'm just having a look at the scores so far. So
no, you gave Saranga a 4.5.
Yeah, I'd put it on par with that. Do you know what? I think for me, if the acting had been better this week, I think this could have easily gone up a notch. Yeah. It is mainly the acting that led it down for me. The pacing as well, a bit slow at the start. I mean, we had about 5 minutes explaining how a factory works. So this is the bit where we put it in a box. This is, so I think this could have, because I like the storyline. I really do like the storyline. I love the Kerblam Man stuff. It was all there, just didn't come together for me, particularly this week. So
yeah, do you know what, mate? For me, that 4 is just because there wasn't anything in the episode that was original to me.
That's true.
A lot of reused ideas, a lot of stuff that we've seen many a time before. And the acting was reasonable. It was pretty good. Didn't set the world on fire. Wanted to see Lee Mack's character a bit more.
Yeah,
it just didn't. And like I said afterwards, I just felt like just didn't really like that much.
Yeah, next. That's what isn't it? It's like next one. Let's hope. Yeah. I mean, next week's trailer albeit short, did look quite good. So
I can't wait for next week.
Fingers crossed it's good, yeah.
Fingers crossed, yeah. All right, yeah. What did our beautiful listeners think? We had a ton of audio clips in. Let's get a couple of these out of the way. This is Alex Kingdom.
Hello, get out of the Big Blue Box podcast. How are you guys both doing? Now, I missed last week's show, even though just because I was busy. So I didn't like Demons of the Punjab, but we'll get into Kerblam, which is an episode that I loved. I loved Kerblam. I think it's my second favourite of the series behind Rosa. I like the little robots of death reference in there. There's a unicorn and the wasp reference as well that you'll pick up on. I thought Jodie was again on fire in this one, especially when she was standing out to that boss guy. I thought Graham was great, although he actually had stuff to do this week, which was good. Ryan again didn't really have a lot to do, but he shined whenever he did something, especially saying that he could get down to that level, but because of his disability, he didn't want to do it. That was a great scene. As also had something to do. So the main companions were great. All our side characters were good. I can't remember any of their names though, so I don't know what that says about it. But I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Loved it. See you guys next week.
Cool.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah. Thank you. I'm noticing, I've noticed this pattern. A lot of people who love this week's didn't like last week's.
Yeah.
And yet I'm the opposite. I loved Demons of the Punjab, but not this week. So maybe it's just a different style of writing, appealing to different people.
Mapes. Yeah. This is Sammy Satine from Down Under.
G'day, Gary and Adam. Sammy Satine here. So, Kerblam! Well, I like the idea of an outer space postal service. Unfortunately, once again, there was no threatening alien. Charlie and his deadly bubble wrap was subtle, but it was a waste of creepy robots. I like Dan. The highlight, though, was 13 in a Fez, because Fezes are cool, and 11 would be proud. I give it 7 Kerblam Man delivery robots out of 10. See ya.
7.
Cheers, Sammy. A 7.
7.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let's jump on Twitter, see what you guys were saying. Rick Moran, who we bumped into at the weekend, nice guy.
Hello, Rick.
Said he loved Kerblam. That's how Doctor Who should be. Fun escapism. Yes. The Whoniverse says a crazy kind of plot that just kind of works. Side characters are interesting and real. It's pretty well paced. It's an episode that shows that sometimes even the left has bad guys on it. Jodie is astonishing, but still lacking something. 3 stars.
Out of 20.
Yes.
No, not really.
So Jacob Birtwistle said, my favourite episode this series. Love everything about it. And the idea of the deadly bubble wrap was genius. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 there.
Wow. Let's have a look. Rotide says, bloody loved it. One of the best episodes of the series so far.
Wow.
Goes on to give it an 8.9 out of 10. Luke East says, this ep hit all the right notes. Creepy robots, lots of humour, the dynamic duo of Ryan and Yaz. And of course, Graham being so Graham-y. Gives it an 8.5.
Cheers, Luke.
Asmat Mahmood, a fun romp with some hints of social commentary thrown in. The intrigue and mystery was good and well developed over the course of the episode. He gives it an 8 out of 10. TARDIS grade, really enjoyed the episode, 7 out of 10. Jordan Shortman, one of our writers, was a lot of fun, he said. While the story was a little light on the ground, it was another fun run around. Perhaps the best episode for a bit of audience escapism. Creepy robots, fun action sequences, and Jodie actually had some dialogue with a bit of bite. Overall, very enjoyable.
Excellent.
Etchy says, I enjoyed the Doctor a lot in this, less chattery and more thinking. The bubble wrap should have been gas and killing the girl seemed cruel, as she was lovely. Great idea, and I love the viewing screens in the TARDIS. 7.9.
Nice.
Let's breeze through a few of these. Time Lord 0902. Decent enough after 7 episodes, but I still don't understand the personality/tone of this Doctor. Jodie comes across like a miscast cosplayer that no one would take seriously. Can't stand the Sonic and calling her Doc. And why did they kill Kira? 7 out of 10.
Oh.
And there's loads more tweets. Loads more. I don't have time. Last one, let's do Sarah Louise, a running Whovian. I've used that word so many times since Sunday's episode. It's the perfect punchy word to sum it up. It had the feel of both classic and new Doctor Who. I enjoyed the Agatha Christie and Fez references. The robots felt sinister, and I was engaged and entertained throughout. 8 out of 10.
Nice one. Thanks, Sarah.
A couple more audio clips. This is Kathy Scott.
Hello everyone, Katie here, giving her thoughts about this week's episode of Doctor Who Kerblam. So this week's episode was something different from last week. I really liked this episode because it was more action-packed, if you like to say that, than the episode last week. And it actually grabbed my attention a bit more. But it also was very accurate, like in the way they depicted how the states of the workers, what they had to endure doing their work. What I also really enjoyed was that they put bits from the old seasons in it, like when Jodie opened the package and she got a fez and you just said, oh yeah, that's 11. And then when she said, yeah, would you like me to tell you about Agatha Christie? And just like, oh yeah, that's the David Tennant one, like from Unicorn the Wasp, which was actually one of my favorite episodes of the David Tennant era. And I really, really liked that. The supporting cast this week was fairly good in my opinion. The one who stood out to me the most, though, was the actress playing Judy Maddox. I think she had a main character in Broadchurch Season 3, if I remember right. But in her performance in this episode, she was really, really good. And I totally bought what she was selling me. Besides that, the episode was fairly good to me. I think one of the best from this season. And I would like to reward it and give it a 9 out of 10.
9. Excellent.
Nice one, Kathy. That was a good review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another audio clip. This is from the guys over at the Who Addicts. This is Matt Rowney.
Oh.
Hey there, Gary and Adam. It's Matthew here from the Who Addicts. Now, Kerblam. I'm going to repeat myself from last week. I think, again, it was a very, very good episode of Doctor Who. A very strong and solid story. I think the first 40 minutes, faultless, really. I thought the build-up to the conclusion was very good. It had a mix of the greatest show in the galaxy and the robots of death. It was sort of quirky but creepy at the same time. So I thought the setting, the premise was great. I also thought the side cast were all very, very good again this week. The TARDIS team all were on top form. I think they were even better. They all had a little bit more to do this week, as was 13, especially at the end when she finally confronted Charlie. She was very doctorish in that scene, so once again, I think Jodie has found her doctor, but again, the sonic screwdriver was very, very annoying in this episode. A few things could have been done better, but overall, it's a very, very good episode, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Another 8.
8 out of 10. Nice to hear Billy the bird in the background there, just chipping in with his little comments.
Yes.
Saying, rubbish!
Let's carry on with the audio clips, actually. We've got 2 more to do. This is George Tucker. Now, I'm pretty sure that I met George on Saturday. So if it is you, George, hi, nice to meet you. If it's not, then we didn't meet and that's random and weird. But anyway, it's George.
Hello everybody at the Big Blue Box podcast. It's George here and I'm going to tell you what I thought of Kerblam. I really like this episode. I'm a big fan of Easter eggs and references, so hearing the quip to Unicorn and the Wasp and seeing the fez at the beginning, I was like, yes, this is brilliant. I'm in Easter egg heaven. The fact that the villain in this episode actually wanted to go out and kill people and actually had a motive, that old Charlie boy, he wanted to raise that 10%. They basically chucked Lee Mack into a blender, pressed liquid eyes, and Lee Mack's dead. He's a pile of big, gooey goodness, or badness. Not goodness. I really liked the ending where Yaz was like, can I take this pendant to his daughter and tell her how much he loved her? That sort of thing. I thought that was quite heartwarming. And obviously having the main villain be Charlie Boy, somebody who's been quite a nice character, helping Graham get all of these things, turning out to be someone who's trying to kill a load of people with bubble wrap. Well done for making normal household things a little bit more scary, like Doctor Who should be, Oh, I like this episode. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, before I go, I like the way that Whittaker was using a sonic in this episode. She had to scan a load of things really quickly, and it was just a quick scan and then look, instead of all of the showmanship, which in some cases is good, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like when she had to open the filing cabinet, it looked a bit awkward. All right, sorry I went on a little bit. That was just a little nitpicky bit at the end. 8 out of 10, brilliant episode. I hope to see you all next week. Bye.
Another 8.
Awesome. Yes. Easter egg heaven. That sounds good.
It does.
But chocolate Easter eggs, please.
Cheers, George. Thanks, mate. And lastly, this is Martin Arnold.
Hello, Time Lords. Well, that was a bit kabland for me. I don't think it really worked. I've noticed that a lot of the indoors shots are kind of claustrophobic, which is a little weird. I really came to the fore in this episode, particularly on board the TARDIS, which I'm beginning to question the design of the TARDIS. I have to say, the style is great, but it does feel too small, which is weird. I love the mannequins. They were great. They were perfectly pitched as sort of a mixture of sort of, corporate obsequiousness plus, downright menace. But the payoff with the janitor, the mild-mannered janitor, was just didn't work for me. It just didn't work. The idea is great, and I think it would have made a cracking big finish, because I think their sort of British humour would really have brought out the story to the fore. Other than that, I think the script just let everybody down, especially, sadly to say, Jodie. I think she didn't get a good script at all. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I want to give it a 7, but I don't think I can. So that's where I sit with that one. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Martin.
Kabland. I love that.
Kabland, yeah.
Kabland.
Oh, dear. Thank you so much, guys, for sending in your audio clips. Let's do a few of these over on the Facebook. Joseph Howarth said this was very enjoyable. Nice twist at the end, and the Doctor was very active in this story, and it felt like a modern version of Robots of Death. It gives it a 9 out of 10. Lawrence Baxter, I thought this was a good episode. Jodie's Doctor continued to develop, so she seems more in charge, and in places even a bit threatening. 7.5. James Coleman. This reminds me very much of my favourite of all time, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. There's a little bit of everything. Great storyline, brilliant setting, sinister monsters, and even added an overarching message. It goes on to give it a 9.5.
Wow.
Carl Evan Elwell. This seemed more like Doctor Who. A whodunit in space mystery, a fun episode. First episode of the series I actually liked. 7.5.
Wow.
Miles Mackenzie. Really enjoyed this one. Felt like an RTD era episode, which I love. However, I do feel the Kerblam bots should have developed its own thoughts and plans instead of a human being behind it again. Gives it a 9, though. Pete Adamson. Doctor Who is finally back on form. Jodie feels like the Doctor. Interesting plot and actually threatening villains. 9 out of 10. Kevin Mullen, really enjoyed it. Good to see Doctor Who commenting on social issues. In this case, working conditions at the big corporations such as Amazon, etc. And with shades of Robots of Death and feeling like a virgin new adventure story. Once more, Jodie was proactive, but the use of the Sonic is starting to grate a little. Not perfect, but enjoyable. 7.5 bubble wrap sheets out of 10. Jeff Waddle, completely middle of the road. 7 episodes in, still don't know what the Doctor is going to be like. If this is it, bland and not leading from the front, then I'm done with her. It wasn't a poor story, but yet again, not a proper villain, just someone misguided. Did I miss something? Why did the lassie he fancied have to be killed? It had shades of the Happiness Patrol and Beast Below, but I'd rather watch those two again. 6 out of 10.
6.
Jessica Leffelman. I loved it. It was amusing, suspenseful, and definitely kept me guessing who or what was behind the message. Each member of the TARDIS team had something meaningful to contribute, and Jodie was fantastic as well. Dare I give it a 10 out of 10?
Wow.
Jessica, 10. Jason Thayer, as someone who hates the self-checkout, I liked the episode. The villain was a good twist. TARDIS team was working like a machine, and for once everyone had something to do. 8 out of 10. Ian Palmer, just short and sweet. It was a banging episode! ! And lastly, Ulrich Hillmeister. I really enjoyed the episode. Each team member was important, and I had no idea who or what was behind the disappearing people. Doctor Who, as I want it to be, she saved the day by delivering the parcels to the robots and at least tried to save the villain. A 10 out of 10.
A 10, another 10.
Another one. Yes. Thank you guys for sending in your thoughts and reviews and your audio clips. I assume you got an overall positive message when you did it on your channel.
Yeah, Geek Sandbag got, I would say, 95% positive. In fact, I think there was only 2, maybe 3 that were a bit middle of the road, not impressed. Yeah, mostly positive feedback.
Good.
Yeah.
Rightio. Next week, the episode we're going to review is
The Witchfinders. The trailer looks good. I've got high hopes for this one. Actually, want to go into it too much expectation, but it does look good.
Yes, I'll be honest with you. This is the episode that I've wanted to watch for ages.
You've been looking forward to this, yeah?
Since we read the synopsis on it a few weeks ago, I thought, this one could be a belter.
Yeah. Is that Alan Cummings under all that beard and teeth and curls in the trailer? Is that Alan Cummings?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I think it's him.
Yeah.
I think it's him under all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it could be. So anyway, let's do it there for 210.
Okay.
Thank you, Who fans, for sticking with us and joining us for episode 210. It's been awesome chatting through some pretty decent news and merch this week, but also giving you our thoughts on Kerblamo.
Kerblam.
Why do we do that? Kerblam.
Yes. Catchy.
Next week, the Witchfinders. Let's hope. Well, all of you guys, I think, the majority of you guys loved Kerblam. So for us, I'm just hoping next week we bring it up a notch and we get a good old, scary, creepy, decent villain monster baddie.
Yes.
In the meantime, though, head over to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to every episode over there. Plus, there's buttons to link off to all of the social accounts that we're on. And we chat lots of Doctor Who during the week. So give us a like and a subscribe on those things so we can... to you guys, so we can get involved in the community and stuff. It's very, very cool. Lots of cool Who fans chatting away. It's all good. And also subscribe to the podcast on any of the podcast networks. We're on most of them. The biggest one being iTunes. There's a big button on the website, or just search for us in the app. We're there. And if you are an iTunes listener, if you could spare a minute for a review and a rating, that would be awesome, because that really helps us lots. Also, check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag.
The Geek's Handbag, yes. Go and have a look.
Nip over to YouTube, do a search for The Geek's Handbag, give Adam a sub and a like on all his videos. So many cool things, so many cool videos. But yes, I've said this countless times, but I'll say it again. You could get lost for hours just surfing through Adam's videos. Very, very cool stuff. And you're also on the social things as well.
Facebook, Twitter, Insta, all of that stuff.
It's all good. So yeah, as we said, next week, the Witchfinders. Let's hope this one's the crack of a story. We've only got 3 left. So we need to start ramping up the scores. The viewing figures are good still, which is good. But, don't know. Also, thank you again for sending in your clips. I know it's a little effort to record a clip and send it to us, so very much appreciated. We love playing your guys' audio clips on the show. Keep them coming. Yeah. It's awesome. Rightio, until next week, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember,
Allons-y.